Hi, we're part of the Animal and Science Group, Section 2. I'm Nikki, and I'll let the rest of the group introduce themselves.
What's up? I'm Aram.
I'm Cal Muxlow.
I'm Dylan.
And today we're going to be talking about the reasons why the testing in animal industry needs to end in pharmaceuticals, medical, and the beauty industry. So animal testing is done worldwide. It's done from laboratories, universities, pharmaceutical companies, all the way to military defense establishments. Animal testing actually goes back as far as 500 BC. Early physicians such as Aristotle, Herophilus, and Aristaeus performed experiments to discover the functions of living organisms. The Roman physician and philosopher Galen, whose theories of medicine were influential in Europe for 15 centuries, engaged in the public dissection of animals to develop theories on human anatomy, physiology, pathology, and pharmacology. Galen had very little sympathy for the animals that he experimented on, and he recommended that his students vivisect animals without pity or compassion. The use of animals in medical research varies widely. Basic research is usually done in academics and investigates how organisms behave, develop, and function. Studies on embryogenesis and developmental biology. Scientists create mutants by adding transposons into their genomes, or specific genes are deleted by gene targeting. Scientists hope to understand both how organisms develop normally and what can go wrong with this process. They also experiment into behavior. These are done to understand how organisms detect and interact with each other and their environments. Breeding experiments study evolution and genetics. They generally prefer to use animals in this case because animals have shorter lifespans, so they can look at them from the time that they're born all the way up to the time that they die. So this actually gives them a wide range to look at versus humans who have a longer lifespan, and it makes it more difficult for them to really grasp what's going on. Going on to our next slide. Animal testing in the beauty industry actually wasn't commonplace until the 20th century. This was largely due to the US FDA passing the 1938 Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. It mandated that cosmetic animal testing was required on beauty projects. The FDA was prompted to pass this act by a renowned case in the 1930s after several women were blinded after using a mascara created by Lashler. It contained untested phenyladiamine. In the cosmetic industry, the most common animals used for testing are guinea pigs, rabbits, rats, and mice. They have chemicals that are rubbed onto their skin and eyes or injected into their bodies, or they could be forced to eat or inhale substances. This is a grisly type of testing on animals, and often the animals, after they're done being experimented on, are inhumanely killed. So they can have their necks snapped. Forget the other one that I read on, but it is not compassionate towards animals. The animals do suffer when being tested in the beauty industry. And Aram, go ahead and take us away on the debate.
Yeah, so this is on the ethical aspects side of our argument. So there's 115 million animals per year. that are being used for medical purposes. And animal testing can end up being more harmful to humans due to misleading safety and efficiency data. You know, sometimes it doesn't always transfer over how the scientists thought it could. Animals are often held in cages and forced to suffer disease when being tested on. They don't have the best living conditions and such. And animal rights are being violated when they are used for this type of research as well. Then as far as the ethical aspects in the beauty industry, the animal testing is cruel and harmful to the animal, just as stated in the last slides. And animal testing is no longer the most effective way to determine the quality of beauty products. Beauty products, when being tested on, often hurt animals. And there's no guarantee that our skin is protected, because the animal skin is entirely different from that of humans. So oftentimes the products, we don't know if they're going to become harmful to us or not until human trials, which is a whole different thing.
And just kind of adding on with Aram, one of the biggest issues is that humans, they view their lives as superior, that animals are less than. And it was always thought when they initially started this that animals couldn't understand or feel fear and pain. So the reason, like them continuing this on, is really appalling and disgusting.
Yeah, it's terrible. It violates the animals' rights.
And as we've discovered, animals do understand stress, fear, and pain. And Dylan, go ahead and take us away on the cultural and sociological significance.
For those significances, different cultures and groups have different opinions on the ethics of animal testing. For example, Christianity believes animals should only be used for food, clothes, and companionship, and should not be unnecessarily harmed. And Judaism believes humans must avoid causing pain to animals whatsoever. And these religions would see cosmetic and medical testing as animal cruelty. And I mean, these religions, to build on this, have been around for thousands of years, which means we have already understood that animals can feel pain and emotions in ways. And then the next slide. Younger people tend to be opposed to animal testing because we have more information on what is going on and what animals can actually understand and feel. Animal testing for unnecessary things like cosmetics is supported less by the public, and I think it will be increasingly getting less support. And vegetarians and vegans are mostly against animal testing. And the concept of human dominion over animals has two interpretations, such as humans treat animals however they wish, or are responsible and compassionate use of animals for the betterment of society and its acceptability.
Also, one thing to note too, it's actually only the US and China that currently still test on animals for cosmetics. The UK and most of Europe have outlawed this because they realize that there is no advantage for humans in testing in the cosmetic industry.
So these are the current events during this modern day that we're currently doing on animal testing. We're currently, vaccinations are being tested on animals frequently by scientists and researchers. And one of the most common ways is through checking the toxicity of the product of any type of medicine. A source said the toxicity tests that are currently accepted by regular agencies, most being animal tests, were developed decades ago and are based on what was considered to be the best science at that time. This outdated test is completely unnecessary and can be fixed with lots of now data that we have nowadays and different types of procedures that we can do. There is that okay? Yeah, there is a way for animal experiment to end for cosmetic usage. It was said on a source. The Humane Cosmetics Act of 2021 was recently reintroduced to Congress. It shouldn't end there though. It should definitely keep fighting through even the people of America and maybe even other countries that could support. But it shouldn't end there in the way that it shouldn't just be up to 30 people or 150 people in a room deciding for the whole country, but to the people and trying to go on from there. But humans have the responsibility to care for these animals, and it's up to us really if we keep going along with these animal testings. These animals that have no say should not be used for selfish gain from of humans for certain experiments, but people choose to keep supporting these companies that continue to experiment on animals when there are other ways to make sure products can be used on animals. Just like I kind of said right there, like we are supporting those companies really when we buy those cosmetics, or we are supporting certain vaccines that or certain medicine companies that are giving out vaccines that have gone through tons of animal trials. And those are really some vital ways that we cannot support those companies to just backfire on those companies to make sure that we're heard and we just don't support the animal testing. But and then next one. No, there should be 2 more slides
There we
back.
go.
We missed some. Okay.
You
Well,
did. I
back
kind
on
of zoomed past it. I'm
cosmetology.
sorry.
Oh yeah, no, it's okay. So back to vaccines. There are multiple ways to fight this battle of testing for toxicity. It just doesn't end there. So for instance, an article back to the slide. For instance, an article said in vitro methods based on human cells and tissues are now being developed and evaluated for assessing toxicity. This shows that by examining a human cell and tissues, they can now assess how a human would react to certain medicines or any products. This is a really big way we can break away from the animal testing, in that we can now develop skin-like features or for cosmetology or certain ways. I don't know how the blood vessels work with processing a vaccine. We can now replicate that to how it would react to certain toxicity a vaccine would give us. But we need the government to carry out these bills to support important matters like this so that we can have efficient research in the areas of toxicity. Because really what drives medicine and what drives these vaccines is hugely built up from government programs that support these companies in enhancing these vaccines. But yeah, so the government, it really needs to come down to their support, but not only their support, but the human support as well. Next slide. So safety for humans in the cosmetology area. So this is really important, and we need to see that the safety for humans has been experiment on animals, and this it is necessary for animals. Oh, okay, wait. Is it necessary for animals experiments, or are there other ways? The FDA said a strong advocate of methodologies for the refinement, reduction, and replacement of animal tests with alternate methodologies that do not employ the use of animals. So this is a very important one. This shows that even one of the biggest organizations for human safety implores a different method than animal experiments. So this just shows that even the FDA and all their organizations support other ways to help enhance and different methods for animal testing, because animal testing, we now know nowadays from my last slide that it's not the only way we can actually truly see how a vaccine or cosmetics react to how humans would react to, because really animals are not the only similar biological thing. Now we can create things that are similar to our skin. But anyway.
Just kind of adding on your cosmetology, one of the interesting things that I found when I was looking up some of the history was that a lot of these companies who claim to be cruelty-free actually still do use animal byproduct in their ingredients. So if you're out there looking for cruelty-free animal or cruelty-free beauty products, you have to make sure that you do read the ingredients, because it's just a label. It isn't anything that's actually checked by the FDA. So I did think that that's interesting.
Mm.
And you did that one. So what we found in our conclusion of animal testing in the medical and makeup industries is, as medical and beauty industry has advanced, so is the means of testing the medicine and products, and animals are no longer a necessary means for medical advancement and testing.
And animal tests have scientific limitations because animals often respond differently than humans when exposed to the same chemicals, leading to inaccurate estimates of real-world hazards to people. And the key differences exist between humans and the rodents, rabbits, non-human primates, and other animals that researchers depend on for testing. And as biomedical understanding has advanced, scientists have begun to come up against the limitations of using other species as proxies for humans.
So cosmetics testing on animals is both cruel and unnecessary, because companies cannot create innovative products using thousands of ingredients that have a history of safe use and do not require any additional testing. Plus, one modern testing method, such as human cell-based tests and sophisticated computer modules, have replaced outdated animal tests with new approaches that are often faster, less expensive, and more reliable.
The use of animal testing in the field of cosmetics research and production presents an unethical viewpoint, since the findings do not advance human health and the practice leads to torture and killing of the animals.
And the last one is our references that we used through all of our PowerPoint. And we hope that you check out some of these and get some more information for yourself.